is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Troy G. Willie Mason and the bro Lukey Stowe. Boys, let's kick it off. There's been a great response with regards to our trip later in the year, the Ashes RL trip. We talked about it on Monday.
Wednesday, because we're doing a Wednesday night record, everyone.
A little bit thrown out here with a Wednesday night compared to Thursday morning. But
fuck, I'm excited.
We've got a good gang already.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. I don't give a shit. I said before, like out of just about 2 minutes, I said, fuck, I'm excited for October.
How good.
We've been over there before. Like, I've played over there. Like, I know a lot of people over there. So anybody who's even umming and ahhing, don't worry about your little fucking Bali trip at the end of the year. Get on this.
Bucks trips.
Get a Bucks in. Get on this.
People normally going to Spring Carnival. Don't
worry about Spring Carnival.
That's going to be there every year.
Yeah. Not this.
23 years since an Ashes tour.
Oh, man. I'm so pumped. I've rang like a lot of people that I'm still connected with over there.
Yeah.
And I said, we're in London, first of all, right? Yeah. And then we're in Liverpool, and then we're in Leeds.
I've got us a gang in Manchester too.
Yeah, we've got some good gangs everywhere. Yeah.
And I've got mad gangs in Leeds
I've got some good ones in London.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We'll have the proper hookups in Leeds too.
Marco Pierre White said he'll come to a rugby league game. He's the hookup.
How good. That's top notch over there. Hey, by the way, this one comes from Jonathan Harron. Incoming from England again. Firstly, love the take on the Galvin situation. Keep it real and honest, lads. Don't understand the need to be apologetic. It's just a real take from players who have been there and done that. Secondly, regarding the tour, forget Wembley, Everton and Leeds. Get you guys out on the Westgate run in Wakey and come for a night at Stanley Rangers Experience, the community game. I'll personally give you a tour of our decrepit changing facilities and barely working showers, and then buy you boys a beer in the best clubhouse in the community game in front of the Kevin Ward Shire, Stanley's finest.
Yeah,
mate. The Wakey, the Westgate.
Sorry. How many years you play for Wakey?
2.
They love you there, mate. It's good.
I do, yeah. No,
they do. You put in for the city, mate. You put in. Oi, they don't. You wouldn't fuck. They wouldn't care about you if you didn't rip in for the fucking games, mate.
Yeah, you know
that's
why
all they want.
You know what? He's sort of taking the mickey with me hammering the facilities in a little bit too on a potty. But the Westgate run, what's a way of explaining it over here? I know they've got the Otley run in Leeds. Lukey, you would absolutely froth the Otley run. It's just basically all the uni students, from just rolling down pub to pub crawl, like a Redfern vibe,
just like where I was in Alexandria.
Just like doing a pub crawl through like Alexandria Redfern. You've got the Leeds.
You've never been
to
Europe. England?
Never been to Europe.
Lukey.
So
you're in for a treat.
You're a pub man.
You know what I'm like.
Lose your shit.
Oh yeah, We'll lose you for it. You might miss a game or two.
I do know my mum tunes in, so I'll be on my best behaviour.
Yeah, there you go.
No, you don't have to come to the games. It's all right. So you'll be fucked. I don't know. Where's Lukey on Saturday? They'll be worried about us too. We'll be sweet.
No, we need the content at the game.
Yeah. You'll have some.
Thank you to everyone who signed up. By the way, the amount of people that have sort of linked up and getting involved and putting down deposits, very humbling already.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good gang going over there. So, as I mentioned on Monday, if you want to go on and have a look at the packages, go to ashesrl.com.au. There are 3 different packages. You've got the 3-game experience, which is all 3 games, starting October 22nd until November 10th. And that's all 3 tests. So that'll be Wembley Stadium to kick it off, Everton Stadium in the second game, and then the decider, because I really do think it's going to be a close series.
I hope it is.
At Headingley in Leeds, and that will be pumping. By the way, tickets are sold out for that. For the 3rd game, we've got tickets.
It'll be interesting to see how Wembley sells that first game. Even if we get 50 or 60 at Wembley, that's fucking winning.
I think it will, mate, because it's the first time we've had it in so long. You know when it's like out of sight, out of mind for a little bit, and then you have a decent break from something as huge as an Ashes.
And they're patriotic.
And plus, we're going to be taking over about 5,000 with us as well.
Yeah, easy. Be good.
It'll be. It's going to be huge. Then you've got 2 different packages. You can go the first 2 games or the last 2 games. Go on there and have a look. It's all on the website. You'll see the little bios for myself and Mace, just both legends.
Yeah.
Hull legend. A guy blew up about us calling each other Hull.
He went mental too. It's like, surely read the room.
Mate,
come
it's
on.
a joke, son.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be going. I tell you what. not looking forward to, but really enjoyed the victory from the Eels on Monday night, mate. You caught it, 13 plus.
Yeah.
Eels win 38-22 against the Tigers, and there was so much happening in this game, before the game, after the game. It had it all.
During the game. I think I was questioning the Tigers, how they could, like, really regroup and then the leadership to get them through, right? And I'm like, you do have Luai, but he's probably about it, right? You got a really young forward pack. Appy, yeah, you got really young forward pack who's probably never been in this position before. And you've got Luai, and Luai's only 26, right? They're only babies there. There's no real old heads there that can get you through that sort of stuff. And Parramatta's up for that game. I said, Moses comes back. He changes the whole dynamics of how they play. The kicking game, going to the line, his running game, even his defence at the end there was like inspirational. He did a lot of things, and like their forward pack, their forward pack would have been going, you got Junior Paulo there going up against a young Terrell May. It's like when you're at the old bull, you're stepping up. You're not letting the young fella run all over you. So the back five was good, Yongi was good, and then it was a bad game for the Tigers.
Well, I mean, like they did get blown out in the end, and it was a really good contest for a long time.
It's a great game. It's a good game.
I just want to go back to Mitch. In the last couple of years, missing a whole heap of footy, playing a game, and then playing in the Origin arena the way he did. They're missing a whole bunch of footy at the back end of the season, playing for Australia.
12, I think 12 or 13 games, and then the test series.
And then playing for Pacific Championships, and then doing it again. Says a lot about his professionalism.
Yes.
And his attention to detail away from footy. And he's really good at it, right? He's a prime example. But the professionalism of players these days, we've talked about it before at the start of the year when Penrith players don't try, but they come out and blow, have a really strong performance against Cronulla Sharks. And Manly did it where they didn't have to play and they started really well. Geez, they must take really good care of themselves.
Yeah, and they understand it. They understand the top 1%. They get it. Everyone who's playing Origin, everyone who's playing for their state, country, everything like that, they get it because they look the part, they act the part. They're about it 24/7, right? And then you get the other guys who are just like floating in and out of first grade here and there, good form 1 week, bad form. They're not getting it. They're still young. They're still learning their craft, right? And that's about having good mentors around you, having good senior players, and just teaching you the ropes. When you're like, 19, 20, 21, 22, then by the time you're like 24, 25, like you should be a seasoned vet, 100 games plus, hopefully a couple of Origins and tests thrown in there, and you can learn how to be a professional. It's very hard because you're coming through the pathways right now, right? So just say if you don't jump from SG ball under 19s to a top 30 side, you're in that real hard grinding part where you're 19 to 21, which will be that, and then plus reserve graders in there, and then Ron Massey. So there's like 60 players within this team, within these clubs now. So right now, when we just finished SG ball, they got beat last week, we'll put a couple of ball players up with Flegg. So Flegg trains 4 times a week, right? Hard as hell. Josh Jackson's running it. Then Ron Massey, they're the ones that play in the Ron Massey Cup, and then reserve grade, the players that are like playing up they're in the top 30, but then like about 10 drop back down. So that is the hardest thing you can do. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just such a hard game. So you got to learn a lot of things during that time. Like all the 1%ers and how to be a pro, and like who's teaching you?
There's only a couple of spots.
There's only a couple of spots. It's like what's the difference between the young, the 19-year-old, the 21-year-old guy? Do you know what I mean? Like it's
stuff you do off the
field. It is very, very, and it's like we're picking people that are hard workers, like doing Broncos in under 5 minutes, doing extra sessions, working on their craft all the time because they're grinding. And then the other guys who don't, they just fall out of the way. They get, about 20, 21, 22, and they're like, fuck, this is hard. I'm not getting paid enough money. You know what I mean? It's a really hard struggle. And I look at them, they train 4 times a week so hard. They're out the back for like, they'll get out, they'll get there at 5:30, do weights, do video, and then do a 2.5 hour session. You're not getting home until 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
that's a grind. That is a proper grind. And it's like, this is why this game is ruthless, right? You get 2 or 3 years, 4 years at it, and then like
And it comes with the pay packet, right, for Mitch. Like you've got you're paid a certain amount of money. You have to be, every detail must be done. And the way he's returned in his games in the last couple of years, you could just tell the energy. And we say this all the time, really big on body language. Like a guy like Foxy, and he come up with some clutch plays, really good start, nice try. The intercept on Taruvu, 10 minutes to go when he was playing fullback.
I loved it.
Mate, and even before that, earlier on, like in the first half, he makes that break down the sideline, has a beautiful pass on the inside to Yongi. Like you could just tell Fox, even as a vet, was a completely different person just knowing Mitchie was in the team.
Back to the professionalism, right? You see Munster getting injured. Look at him how he comes back, right? Cleary injured. Look how they come back. Yeah. They're full on into it, guys. Shapes. They know their body shape. They know that your best ability is availability. Do you know what I mean? So when they go back, they don't have a mindset, oh, poor old me. I need to get, they look at it as like a silver lining. I can strengthen my shoulders up because I got a sore knee. Like I can work on my weaknesses, all this other stuff. Their skill set, everything. If you've got a lower leg injury, you can work on your hands and everything like that. So that's a different mentality.
We talked about that with Cam Murray, didn't we, at the start of the year?
Look at it, exactly. He can just exactly. Like you got to look at it like that. So they never go back whinging about it. They're like, okay, it is what it is. How can I get better? And understand, like you've got the best of the best around you, 24/7. You got S&Cs, you got everybody around you trying to help you get back to your best, right? Especially when you are the Mitch Moses, the Cam Munsters, and everybody else. The Clearys, they always come at the Jerome Hugheses, even the Pappenhausens. They all come back and they don't miss a beat.
You know what I reckon they're getting better at too, from an outside looking in, just hearing to like the language of the way they speak. It's more player specific as well. Yeah. It's like, just say I remember back in the day, you'd be in rehab and you'd be training with a guy that's fucking, one's done his Liz Frank, the other guy's dislocated his shoulder, and you're sort of just in a rehab group in the morning at the same time. Now it's like actually specific to like how, for sure you would break up at times, but it's like, all right, we're all going to be on here at the same time. Now it looks like it's all right, putting together the guys that are in this, who was talking about it? Nath was talking about his off-season, Nathan Cleary, on the podcast with Toddy and Mitchie.
Yeah, 6s and 7s. Yeah,
shout out to the boys. And he talked about his combination with Blaze Talangi. And he talked about, building that chemistry with Blaze in pre-season. Was it the boys? I'm pretty sure it was the boys. I could be wrong.
I knew he was on there. I know Cleary was on that.
Yeah. I don't know if I heard it there. I believe it was there because I watched clips of their potty. Anyway, the point is, like, those two guys both had similar injuries. And now, like, we're about 3 games into their combination. Yeah. And we've seen signs of it looking
good. And do you reckon that was because, like, just say because of they had some problems in the preseason, they didn't get to do any reps together?
For sure.
Like hardly any. Was because Blaze was a bit injured too, wasn't he?
Yeah. So they both didn't start training with the main squad until I believe it was around January, late January.
Yeah, and that's hard. Not for Cleary.
No.
It's for Blaze, and he's only just and I hope to God that combination works, but it takes a minute. Like I think we took it for granted. The Luai Cleary, they've been playing together since I was 14. They know each other inside and out. Now Cleary's got to deal with another person.
Yep.
First time in his career.
And
he don't have Luai.
Jerome's trying to figure that out. Like he was starting to strike up a really good combination with Lockie. That got unsettled a little bit. Now it's back this week, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah, we'll see if that goes.
Just want to talk a little bit about a couple more plays. Bailey Simonson was unbelievable in a badly beaten team against Canberra. He was fucking so good in this. I'm just thinking about the way the way their lineup's going to look in the back 5 once they're back, because Lomax was really good.
Strong.
Specifically in that Bulldogs game. The way that Bailey, Lomax, Will Penasini looks 10 times better on the right than he did on the left. And then Foxy playing at the level that we all know Fox can play at.
Yeah. You're not going to get your brutal runs on play 2s with Fox, right?
No, that's not his.
But you're going to get some freaky plays. When he scored that last try, I was just like, and even the intercept, right, to save the game. I reckon if they score that try,
so do I
think the Tigers get it.
Yeah.
That anticipation that you cannot fucking coach. You can't coach what Fox does. I've seen him do some shit in games that he's just like, God damn, just sit there and clap and applaud. You know what I mean? And it's a couple of tries that he scored, the passion that he has when he just goes, "Rah," you know what I mean? I love it. I'm spewing that he's not at the club anymore, but that's a whole different story. But like watching him do that, seeing that smile on his face again, you know, enjoying football, because it's been a rough ride, right?
Yeah.
He'd be looking at the dogs sitting where they are, and he's like, where am I sitting, you know? So he'd be like, and that's a him problem, right? You know, it's no one else's problem but his fault. So seeing him get out there and enjoying his footy, seeing Rolesy having a bit of a smile on his face, I'm just like, fuck, as much as I don't like Parrot, right? But I like the players. I love Rolesy. He's a good friend of mine. Fox, all these guys, they're all good people. I just take the piss out of Parramatta because of my rivalry against Parra. I don't hate him now. I just like taking the piss out of it.
Yeah. It's mainly that you hate Lukey.
It's mainly Lukey. If he wears his paraphernalia stuff in here, I'll just pick on it.
I thought the bench was really good for Parra before we move off and talk about the Tigers. Shout out to Dylan Walker. He's clearly made a real impact. He's got 2 wins out of 3 games since he's been there. Dragons and now this game. Moretti.
Like him.
I like Moretti.
How did he get sent for 10? God.
And, that was a joke.
That was ridiculous.
And Tui Vati, he looks like...
Yes.
He's going to be... He's the player you're talking about where you're referring, Mace, where you're like, if he can punch out quality 25 to 30, he can be
He's a
real
problem.
player.
Jack Bird, stop trying to tackle him. Please. He threw him off. The first time he ran... You got it. Jack Bird, he's balls out. Loves it, right?
Birdie's no way going to step away from the
Never.
confrontation
He just
like
went... And that guy beeline for him, and I'm just like... Go low or something. There was no way. He just went up top and he hit the deck so quick on his first one, and then like the second one,
flew about 2 or 3 meters.
Yeah, it was a brutal hit, and he just gets straight back up, straight up, and then he got him on the try from dummy half, and then off the kickoff he ran him again, and he's still trying to put a shot on him. Yeah. He's given up at least 30 kilos there. Easy. Yeah, I like that. I like that kid, but it's good
change. All right, let's get to the Tigers. It was obviously a huge week. It was clear that some didn't handle it well. I thought Luai and Api were good, and they tried to settle things down. But I think the younger players got, in particular Taruva, got really just caught up emotionally. And I'll add this, because I was calling the game, and I seen on the first try, and this goes back to the round 2 performance. Taruva let him know at Parramatta. Yeah. He hit the claw, pulling the claw, going after it, and that's what you love about a guy like Taruva, right? It's the same as Foxy can celebrate when he scores tries, right? When you got to understand that players keep receipts, and they got to a position where they played so close to each other from when they had last played, and they get a guy like Mitch Moses on the first try, not right at the end of the game when the game was won. Mitchie comes screaming over and let Taruva know about it on the first try when Foxy went past him, and it just, in my opinion, completely rattled him for the game.
Yeah, he was off because Taruva he's a very, very good player, high class winger, but just needs to let his footy do the talking. You know, that post. I said it. I've been clear about that. I wasn't happy with that post. He just needs to let his footy do the talking. And that's him, mate. That's him. But like little things like that, costing your team 10 minutes off. He's the only one that should have got sent for 10 for that.
Agreed.
Moretti should have been sweet, and that's it. But he would have let his team down so much just because he can't control his emotions. And then he grabbed the number 9 and just ragdolled him. I was like, what was that?
Timu Reedy.
For nothing. Yeah, Timu Reedy, yeah.
Right, shut up, Riley Smith.
Yeah, but he grabbed him and just went, just went boom, for nothing.
Yeah.
Because they mauled him, right, and then got him off the sideline, and then Trooper didn't like it. He just went bang. I was just like, oh, dude, you're losing your shit. Stop doing that. Because you're going to cost your team.
I think Sean Russell did well to get into his ear as well. He was pissing him off.
Yeah, and continued all the way.
And then Lane, I think Lane was like,
Lane's retired at the moment.
Well, who was that guy that was like talking shit to him when Taruva got sent for 10?
Sean Russell.
That's Sean Russell.
Is that Russell?
They do look similar.
I swear it was Lane. No, Lane's retired.
No, Laney's having a spell at the moment.
Or it was Russell. Well, Russell was into him. So I thought in my head, what's Sean Lane saying to him? That pissed him off so much. They were against each other.
So I called the Dragons game as well. And Russell's got a little bit of shit in him too, real undercover.
Yeah, it's good.
Him and Gutho were going at each other at half time. Funny story. I actually ran into him. So I called that game on the Friday, maybe the Saturday night, and then I ran into him the very next day. Him and Gutho are obviously super close. Gutho was there when he sort of transitioned into first grade. And he was out watching. He must be really good mates with Clayton Farlolo from the Manly team. Sort of ran into him, had a bit of a chat to him about his running with Gutho, and I'll sort of keep that private. Actually, I was going to say something about it, but I'll keep it private. But yeah, he likes getting amongst it, sure, Russell, and he's one of the guys. Too. He's the guy like he needs to. There's a bit of pressure on him now because he's the guy that will feel the pinch, I think. Once Zach Lomax is back.
Yes,
so
he's the guy he's the guy that'll fall, who will probably get pushed out.
He's the guy, he needs to have a big 2 or 3 weeks.
So Simonson, he's going to, I think he's a lock for the right side centre with, and then you got Zach, and you got Zach, and then, where do you fit that?
Simonson on the wing?
It'll be, Zach will come back and play right wing, I believe.
Yeah.
And Bailey Simonson or Sean Russell will play left centre.
Is the wing experiment... He has to play there now?
Yeah.
Well, I think he just wants to wear 3.
So the game before he was he actually played on the right wing in the Dragons game, and then he was named the next week to be right wing.
Right.
And even Rolf said it in a presser after. But
he's top 3 winger in the world. Easy when he's going. Like I think his best chance to play Origin is when he comes back and has a couple of games and he's in Origin. Otherwise, you're talking, Critter's a lock. Trell's there.
I think you could even play centres at club level and still be a lock to get wing position.
But just depending on who's killing it, right? Because Brian Tyler's out right now. We need one of those guys. Carraz could be there, yeah. But how long's Tyler out for?
He did a hammy, so that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I reckon he'd be right. I reckon he'd be back in time. Geez, the front rows are still impressive though. Terrell May and Finor Pole, they were causing all sorts of dramas early on.
Proper duo.
It wasn't until the bench from Paris sort of come on, and because they had no Royce Hunt, even though he doesn't play a huge amount of minutes, he's the guy that comes on and just unsettles shit for a little bit.
He'll do a run where someone will be flat on their ass.
The Tuivati.
Like the Tuivati guy.
From the other side.
You need that. You don't care how long it goes for, but you need some sort of impact in the middle. Big boy, get on there, just steamroll a couple of guys, and that just lifts everybody up. Yeah. Quick play the ball, get on the back of it. So they didn't have anything like that, the Tigers.
They played, there was a guy on the bench who was a back rower, and I'm remembering this now because it's the Pits. And this sort of come into the back end of our careers, Maze. Tony Suka, he came onto the bench, and Benji didn't play him at all.
Oh no!
And we how got an hour after radio. He was doing.
So he didn't play at all.
He was doing hundreds and 4 and 5s after the game. Oh, that's the.
It makes me sick. That's
the pitch. You can do that the next day, can't you?
Yeah, I know. I seen it. But why not play him?
Yeah.
Give him 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt sorry for him.
It's not like they were they were under the pump, the Tigers, the whole time. What position is he?
He's a back rower. Yeah.
It's hard to have a back row on the bench, isn't it? Yeah. Unless he can slash and go centres and everything like that.
Yeah, they had 2. So him and Birdie were on the bench, and then Birdie sort of played like another middle, but then he ended up getting...
They were quiet, their back rows.
Yeah.
Very quiet. Safe Farth, I didn't even realise he was playing until the 60th minute. He got starved of the ball. So when you got to get in there and just get off your edge.
All right. That's it for the game. We're going to be looking into the preview of games now moving forward. I had a chat to Fozzie again today, wasn't it, Lukey? Just, mate, he's so good to chat to. Here we go. This clip is brought to you by Athlete. All right, we are back with my man Foz, brought to you by Athlete. Athlete have been a great contributor to what we're trying to do here at Levels in 2025. They're the best in the business for joint, muscle pain relief, and built ultra tough for you, your family, and the best athletes. As always, Lukey will share the link in the bio for your chance to win a performance and recovery pack valued at $500. So get your questions on into YouTube as per. This week we went a little differently. I got one from Instagram, boys, and Fozzie, you're really going to enjoy it. But, mate, how are you going?
I'm going well, thanks, Ozzy. Good to be chatting again.
So we went to Instagram for this one, Fozzie, but we'll finish off with it. That's how we'll finish up. I've got a couple of good questions. I thought you did a really Well, I've seen your podcast that you did with Keegan Hipgrave. He's doing an outstanding job on his channel, and the way he interviews players, I absolutely love what he's doing, and he's a great fella. Before
Yeah.
we get to that, mate, I just want to talk about with all the I guess the main focus for this week anyway has been around what's happening at Tigers and Lockie Galvin. That's the example I'm sort of alluding to, but I just want to give it more of a holistic approach for young players now in the game.
Yep.
And with all the added pressures of the money that's just, going to be getting only bigger and bigger with the strength of the NRL right now. What's some advice you would give, because you're at the end now, what's some of the advice that you'd give just to younger players dealing with the pressures of the money that's associated with specifically halves right now in the modern game, and how that, in my opinion, it's only going to increase. It sort of started with Dill. There's been talks around even some guys in the middle, like Jamal Fogarty, who's sort of right in the middle of their career. You've got guys like Lockie Galvin, and we were even talking about on the potty about a guy like Isaiah Katoa, who's going to be earning some big cash moving forward as well. What would be your advice for some of the younger guys just learning how to balance that footy work sort of balance?
Yeah, it's a really interesting take. I mean, when I look at young guys coming through, mate, everyone's at different levels. So I guess this week specifically talking about young Lockie, he's obviously a future star of the game, an exceptional talent. So for a guy like that, it's going to be different to, say, another young guy that's coming in, maybe at minimum wage, just a solid start to his career, and trying to, I guess, maximise as much as he can his earning capacity, but he's sort of at that level. So he's not going to feel the pressure as much as, say, like we're talking, a Lockie Galvin, who is an absolute star, and they come out of the blocks firing, they play exceptional footy, and then all of a sudden, there's a $6 million deal put in front of them for $1 million a year, and that we're talking, that's huge money, for a kid of, I mean, how old is he? 19.
19, turning 20 this year.
I mean, the money was still big in our day, when me and Daly were coming through, but it was nothing at that level for a young 19, 20-year-old. So, I mean, look, to put it simply, I can only talk on my own experiences as a young guy. And to be honest, I never liked looking at long-term deals. I know as a young player, I remember always saying to those around me, I just want to sign 2 or 3 year deals because I want it to keep me always on my toes, and I want to always feel like I've got to continue to strive for the next goal and then the next one after that. So I remember as a young guy never really wanting to go longer than, say, like a 2 or 3 year deal, maybe at max 4 years, something like that. And that's probably changed now. You see, since then, we've seen 10-year deals come in and 8-year deals. And I guess people and agents specifically look at that and go, well, that's life-changing sort of money. That's got the ability to set you up well beyond footy. So that's more of a long-term approach to your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, I find it a pretty dangerous road to go down when you're offering young guys of 19 and 20 long-term deals because so much can change in that space. Every now and then you might get away with it. It might be a great deal, and they continue to progress at the rate that they are, and then they're able to, I guess, give you return on that deal. But I just think it's a huge risk. That's my honest opinion. I think when you're offering guys that sort of money over that length of deal, as I said, so much can change in their lives, in their growth, in I guess the rate in which they're progressing. And then there's the other element which you touched on, which is what sort of added pressure does that then add on the player themselves? And that's I guess the real important part is that if you've got young guys that don't have a great grounding, that maybe have other things going on in their life behind the
Or
scenes,
team,
or
friends, family that, yeah.
yeah, if like that sort of money can lead to far bigger problems. And I've spoken about that over the years with my own journey. The fact that you're earning a lot of money at a young age, and you might be, then it can lead to other decisions that you're making throughout your life that might not be the greatest. And then when you're on $1 million plus a year, you're under extreme scrutiny to get your team home every weekend, aren't you? And for again a young guy of 19 or 20, that's a lot of pressure to be going into every game for 27 rounds with. So yes, you want to get paid what you're worth, and I think it's part of the game now where agents go out and they chase the top dollar and the biggest contract and try and set their players up long term, which there's nothing wrong with.
No.
But I think as a young guy coming through, my advice would be don't be afraid to knock back a 6-year deal and take a 3-year deal. There were times over my career where I was offered 4 or 5 years and I ended up asking for 3.
That's interesting. I just want to ask you a question on that, because that was right at the bit, and I was always going to come back to it because I found that interesting. That's I fully understand the reasons too. Like 3 years allows you to lock yourself into a decision and a choice with the club. But then it's extra motivation to make sure you're still performing at that level after 3 years. And that's a level of confidence in your game, in my opinion, Foz. Like to sign those 3-year deals and not 5, you understand that you're also going to be trending up. That's, I would guess, would be the mindset. And you're backing yourself to go and get another 3 years after that 3 years is complete. Is that
no, you're
correct?
spot on. Yeah, you're spot on, and that's what I've done throughout my whole career. Now, in some cases, it worked against me. If you look at the Canterbury deal, I signed a 3-year deal, big money deal, but then got a stack of injuries, and probably should have taken a 4 or 5 year deal at that time, but didn't. So it can have the reverse effect. But my mentality was always, I can play better footy by the time that deal finishes, and I'm backing myself to be in a better position to then sign again. So, yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, everyone's different. But I'll say this, if you love the game of rugby league and you love what you do and you do it for free no matter what, and you just love turning up and competing and playing and getting better, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day what you get paid. It's not going to be, that's not going to be the key ingredient to your success.
Money's just a bonus.
Yeah, it's just going to be the added bonus to the side, which allows you to hopefully set yourself up, once the game's finished. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting combo that we've, had there in terms of, there's just different elements to what drives different guys.
Yeah, no, really good advice, mate. Really good advice for the younger generation. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to go their own path, but interesting to see. The biggest bit that I took out of it is, you're willing to back yourself at a young age, and it shows full confidence in your belief in your talent and what you're able to achieve. So love that, mate. Really good. Any younger players, not only younger players, but guys that are not even playing first grade might be listening to that Fozzie and really resonate. Speaking about resonating, mate, I mentioned it before we started talking about, the Halves situation. Been a big fan of Keegan Hipgrave and what he's doing up there with his podcast. He gets really in depth. He loves speaking about, more so the mental health side of and aspects of being a professional athlete. You enjoy your time with Keegs. I've seen a couple of the clips, mate, And I think you would be great in that space too. Like I know Keegs is doing a good job and something like that, but
Yeah.
like after footy, I reckon you'd be perfect for doing something similar.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Hoz. I'm really enjoying working within that space at the moment, and as you touched on, Keegs is doing some wonderful work there and with his podcast, and I find he really attacks the deeper issues of mental health and the ones that are sometimes quite uncomfortable to speak about, but need to be addressed and spoken about. So yeah, I loved getting in there and having a chat with him, mate, and sort of unpacking my own mental health journey and decisions that I've made over the years. And it's something, as we've touched on previously, something I'm obviously very passionate about. So I just feel that the more conversations that particularly men can have in that space, it's going to just allow other guys to not feel so isolated or so vulnerable when they are going through really difficult and tough times in life. Look, we're all immune to it. At the end of the day, everyone's got their own life and their own journey, and none of us are perfect, and there'll be things along the way throughout life that might really get us down or that we might really struggle with. And I feel particularly as guys, we always want to put the brave face on and just back. No, I'm fine. I'm all good. I'm working hard for my family and I'm providing and I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm the rock of the family. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes for a lot of guys that they aren't coping with, or that are making them not feel like their best self. And it can lead to really fatal decisions, mate. At the end of the day, suicide is the leading cause of death in our country from 18 to 24. It's a frightening stat, and some of those lives can be saved by blokes just like us
Having those conversations.
having those conversations and allowing those guys to feel that they're not that they're no different to any of us. And that's the work I'm trying to do in that space. Is I've been exactly where they are. I've battled my own addictions through life. I've battled my own mental health through life. I've felt really shit about who I am as a person, and ultimately, at the end of the day, being here is the greatest thing that we can do. And that's something I will continue to push and continue to talk about whilst ever I'm alive on this earth, is that we're losing too many lives to men, particularly just not feeling good about themselves, mate.
Yeah. Well
Yep.
said, Ozzy. We're willing to talk about it anytime you jump on, mate. I know it's really close to you.
For sure.
I know some of the struggles you've been through, and I just
Yep.
really wanted to highlight it for Keegs. People might not be aware. Sorry about the birds there in the background, mate. Yeah, that's not going to work well on the editing for you, Lukey, off the back of a really good clip. But I just wanted people to be aware that Keegan's doing a great space. And if you do get an opportunity to go and watch and you want to learn more about Fozzie's story, he's the man to do it. So I said that, I think you'd be great in that space. I think another space you'd be great in is coaching. I've always loved talking footy with you. I think that's where we, really bonded straight away, your footy IQ.
For sure.
Got a really good question from a fan here, like I mentioned before, and it has gone away again. Every time I get out of Instagram, I'm going to quickly get it back up. And it comes from on Instagram, it comes from Borch. I think his name's Borch. It's just a username. They're a little bit harder.
Yep.
If Fozzie was to be an NRL coach, what would be the 3 non-negotiables he would install in a team and want in his players?
Oh, that's a great question. Three non-negotiables.
What would be your number one? We'll start with number one, and then if while you're talking about your number one that you think important to a team and a player, then maybe you'll start thinking about maybe a couple more on top of that as well.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I feel like something I've prided myself on throughout my career has been obviously work ethic. So, like your determination, your drive, your ability to keep turning up every single day and putting your best foot forward, constantly wanting to get better. I mean, they sort of all go into that one sort of cup there.
Yep.
So for me, something if I was a coach of a footy team, that for me would be a real, I guess, high priority to my players. Would be that at the end of the day, I want you to outwork the opposition, and by doing that, you're going to have to work extremely hard through the week, Monday to Friday. With your preparation, in terms of being punctual, making sure you're on time.
It's a bit of a broad question, isn't it?
Yep,
Like it's one of those hard ones. You can put all these different words up on a board, and they all mean the same things. Do you
yep,
think it's easier? Just to add to the question a little bit. How
yep,
do you identify, like, sort of watching other teams?
yep.
What actions do you sort of that you see from some of the players that you think have really good work ethics that and you can even name a few players
Yep.
potentially that
Yep.
you love watching. You just go, all right, like specifically to that position, he might come up with the beautiful, shape play or whatever, but particularly as a half, you see actions
Yep.
on the field
Yep.
that lead to him having success with all the pretty stuff later on.
Well, if you look at let's talk about the Bulldogs specifically at the moment. Like, end of the day, I watched them and I saw it come into their game last year. Even in that final against Manly, they were the better team. For 79 minutes in that final, got beaten in the final 3 minutes of the game by Manly. It's a phenomenal game, but they've continued on with that this year. But if you look at the Bulldogs, I look at them and I feel like they've got a real selfless approach to their footy at the moment, and by that I mean that the effort that they put into the unseen and the unhighlighted, like the things that don't make the highlight reels, the effort that they're putting into those parts of the game are far beyond where any team is at the moment. And that's why they're getting the rewards and the results. So just to name a few, like you watch when they're in their yardage D and they've kicked a team into the corner. You watch the effort that they put into their line speed, like all bouncing together, their retreat speed,
Yep.
the effort that they then put into their tackle. And this is very much a Penrith thing of the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
They
100%.
will commit 3 or 4 numbers to a tackle if they can, and they will make sure that they put in so much effort to that tackle that they win it. And by win it, I mean, their hit's good, then their drive, they're manoeuvring the guy who's running the ball into that negative position. They then got weight on the tackle. They're slowing the ruck to allow the other guys to get back to then get forward. Like, I'm talking specific details here, but
I'll
when you,
throw another one in for you, Foz,
yeah,
just on the back of it, because I talked about this on Monday, watching it. I caught the game, so I was, got the perfect bird's eye view over it over the weekend. I was so
yep,
impressed with everything you're saying.
yep,
Reason it's a real team first action as well, because if someone doesn't do it correct, not only do you fatigue yourself if you're the guy that's not doing that action,
yep,
you ruin it for the other 2 or 3 people in the tackle.
for
So
sure.
because they're so in sync, it can
Yep,
be if it's not executed correctly, in my opinion,
yep.
it stuffs everything else up. So everyone has to buy into it.
That's so true, mate. And that's that word accountability, eh? Like, they must have a real high accountability on one another. And it's almost like it's expected of you to front load your energy into
Yeah.
every tackle. And I love that. Like, that's been Penrith for the past 4 or 5 years. Like, I've watched Fisher Harris and Moses Leota and Isaiah Yo and Liam Martin and Sorensen and those guys just be great at the unseen parts of the game. And that's what makes
100%.
them a team. And it's great advice. to the next generation coming through, and even to other teams aspiring to be where Penrith have been, and I look at what Serraldo's doing with the Bulldogs at the minute. But it just shows you, like, if you've got a real selfless approach to your footy and you're prepared to front load your energy into those parts of the game that not many people see, but your teammates notice, that's what wins championships. That's what wins games. And I absolutely am loving what Canterbury are doing at the moment with their D. And to answer your question, that is something that if I was a coach, that'd be a non-negotiable in my footy team.
Yeah, I love
Would
it.
be spoken. It would be.
The James Fisher Harrison Moses Leota shout.
Yep.
Everyone associates those two with tough carries, big hits, big minutes. The most impressive part for me over the years is watching those two guys is their kick pressure, is
Yes.
attacking legs. They do all the little things that maybe you don't see unless you've played with those guys. And guess what? Now the Warriors are doing it, even with Fish missing on the weekend.
Yep.
They've seen him be doing it at training, and I'm seeing those sorts of efforts not only at the Bulldogs because Serraldo's taken it there. I'm starting to see glimpses of it at the Warriors as well, because of Fish.
So true, mate. It's infectious, eh? Like Fisher Harris, I reckon, epitomises what we're talking about. And that's why Penrith have been what they've been for the past 4 or 5 years. And as you touched on, now the Warriors are doing it. I mean, not a big front rower, not a guy that busts the walls down and makes line breaks and runs through you and makes the highlight reel. But as you said, I've played with Fish in test matches, and mate, I have been taken back by the effort areas in parts of the games that I feel, how does a front rower get there and do that? Like there were times in test matches against the Aussies where he's down on a kick chase and a fullback, he's trying to go around him and he just puts in an extra effort to make sure he gets to that fullback. You're talking Hammer and Dill Edwards and guys that have got extreme footwork. Yeah. And he puts in the effort, those extra 2 or 3 steps to charge and tackle that bloke, then to get his weight on top and win that tackle, then to go and hunt from marker. I mean, it's just, those are the things that they don't make the advertisements on telly.
No.
But
some of those things. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, really good stuff there because I think if you're a diehard fan and you love your footy and you watch, you don't necessarily have to play it to understand and see those efforts. But sometimes you really need to play with those sorts of guys. There are some guys that you value so much more, and I had that when I got to Manly with some of the great players that we had as well. But mate, all the best. It looks like the biceps recovering. Hopefully you're not too far away. We had a bit of an injury update. I think we could be doing some stuff up at Magic Round together in a couple of weeks. But I'll text you on the side about that. But all the best with the recovery, mate. And all the best with what hopefully the Titans can get a dub on the weekend as well.
No, thanks, Hozzy. Appreciate it. Good to chat.
Let's get to replies now. So just a couple of little ones. There was so much chat, and we've only got a short amount of time, so not as many as we normally have. But we've got team list predictions from Monday when I got a couple right already. So this one comes from basically Zorro Official. Horo is part of the Illuminati for sure. Man predicted both the Tigers situation and the Rabbitohs. And, by the way, if you're paying attention, I also predicted Dom Young to be dropped and Mark Nawinga-Naitawase.
Oh, you did.
Which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah,
so
you got it.
I nailed Latrell would go back to fullback after watching South on the weekend. I said Billy Smith would come back in left centre and move Marky Mark to the wing. Mm-hmm. And I predicted Lachlan Galvin straight back into the team.
But I didn't predict that. We'll get to those teams. We'll get to that Lockie Galvin one. I reckon it's a ruse.
Ooh, a little fakey. Okay. All right. This one is about your game day experience, Mason. It comes from Driven. Driven 17. Driven will be part of the 17, or at least the 18th man with you, Mason. The Mason game day experience. I'd pay for the Mace only NRL fans experience. Sounds awesome. So will there be some way if you do something like this moving forward, or is it just basically corporates and sponsors and stuff?
It'll be something like that'll be part of like the package, what sort of ticket you get. Like with Ticket Tech, you can add little things on top. Did you know that? If you bought a ticket to just say Taylor Swift or something like that, like you would, Lukey, Taylor Swift, and then you want to meet her and all this, and you pay extra, like stuff like that. So like, I think how Ticket Tech, how you go, okay, I want a ticket, sit in the suite, and then I want the experience, and you can tick that. So I think it's going to be part of that. So I had a good talk with Aaron.
Work out with the NRL.
Yeah, no, it'd be something just with the Bulldogs.
Sounds awesome.
That's it.
Mate.
Yeah,
I'm laughing because that's why I'm coming home from Magic Round early.
fucking
I'm going to a
Taylor
concert.
Swift.
What concert?
Gracie Abrams.
Gracie Abrams.
Who's that?
I'm so out of touch. Who's
You are.
Gracie Abrams?
She opened for Taylor Swift.
Is country?
No, acoustic.
Date?
Acoustic. Okay.
Don't ask too many questions, mate. No questions.
Yeah, it is.
No
I
doubt.
told you the yarn about at Chez's wedding after everyone's just back there belting out country music songs, and I'm just like,
Yuck.
I'm so out of touch. Everyone knew word for word.
Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, all them.
all them. And the only one I knew was Tennessee Whiskey by Stapleton. Is it
That's how
Stapleton?
much,
Chris Stapleton.
that's how much I had box tickets to that Luke Combs dude. I went, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah, fuck.
I'd rather watch Super Saturday. An hour
They're
behind.
killing it, though. All those country singers.
Oh,
just
yeah, but
printing
it's a
money.
fucking concert. God, I did that shit in my 20s.
All right, let's
Could
get to
not be
predicting
bothered.
teams that are finals bound, Mason. There's a couple obvious ones, but this one comes from Tara Kim. Kia ora whanau. Just a question. When you're watching games early in the season, what do you look for in terms of teams to determine who you think could make the finals footy or not? And I think we're at that time right
We're nearly
now,
there.
mate,
We're
aren't
nearly
we?
there.
What do you want to see from them in the weeks coming to cement their names in the conversation to play finals, Mason? I've got a couple of things there that I look for, but what, if any of those are similar to yours,
They're pretty
feel
similar.
free. Yeah.
High completions.
Yep.
Right. That's what you need. Defensively, you need to be able to just work hard and mentally be like resilient in the middle with these 6 to goes, right? You've got to have a fit middle. You've got to have a mobile middle. You can't have any person in the middle and on your rotation on the bench. That's a liability. Like
Sounds like you're describing the Dogs.
Well, I'm just saying, if you've got a liability in some of these teams in the bottom four and that, you've got probably 2 or 3 on the bench
It's a
that
big tick for
you
them.
can't really like put him on for more than 10 or 15 minutes on these high speed grinds. That's what I'm saying. Like where you need to be able to sit out there for 25, 30 minutes if need be with HIAs, with everything like that. Good kicking game. We can see with Parramatta what they brought back.
Huge.
And just a very fit team.
You need to get lucky with health too, don't you? That's
And
what I wrote
of
down.
course,
Yeah.
everybody playing at a high level, playing for each other. But I think that's all you need. It doesn't even matter about having the superstar team.
Well, here's I've got one for you too, and this is a huge factor and a reason I like some teams over others, but that's starting to change now. I thought a big tick for your Bulldogs is origin eligibility.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
with a couple of
yeah.
injuries, guys like Jacob Carraz and Reid Marnies and
They could.
the Max Kings
Birdo.
of the world, the Matty Burtons of the world, I had them as 50-50 propositions. If a few more troops keep going down, Kurt Manns of the world up at Queensland, there's some opportunities for them, and they could be playing more games than I anticipated, where I thought they were only going to have Critter at best and then maybe 1 or 2 others. I thought maybe Carraz is probably the next closest.
I think another thing that we talked about before is like game planning, right? Knowing who you're playing against and having a different game plan for every team. Specific game plan. Like just say if you're playing against South, you know that the backfire is going to shift on you because they don't trust their kick chase.
Yep.
So a lot of those little things, if you're not on top of everything, you're going to get exploited by the good teams. Right, they're going to shift the ball. Like have a look what the Bulldogs did against South. They knew their right side wasn't moving up. Bang, bang, just get to that edge straight away and then just pile through the middle.
They would have picked that up from the
And they would have picked it up from the Cronulla
Sharks,
game. Yep. So like a lot of those things, you isolate weak defenders. And because a lot of the work is done during the week, right? You just say if you're playing against Cronulla, you're going to isolate Nico, right? He's the only he's a questionable defender. That's
Trying to get it.
Yeah, you're trying to get it him, trying to get it Trindle. Right, everything else you're going to get hit. You know, so there's not many spots in the game anymore.
No.
You know, so like when you come up against a team like Melbourne, like who do you get at?
Yeah.
Munster's a gun tackler. Jerome Hughes is a gun tackler. You know, so different teams
You've
like have different.
Yeah, against them,
you've got your completion rates and your possession and everything goes into being a successful team. You know, and then like you look at Melbourne on the weekend, like how did that happen?
But that's to your point, mate. Right? Like Dolphins were unreal, but that's very hard to replicate that style of footy. Those flick passes and shit, like
only come off sometimes.
If they don't stick, that could have been a completely different game.
And that's the way to beat Melbourne, right? You got to play footy at them.
Bit unorthodox.
Yeah, you can never just go one out and just have a shift and then go back to the middle and have another shift. You got to have offloads. You got to test it. You got to test the waters a little bit of a flick pass, like some offloads, and then try and disrupt their line speed and their line organisation. Right? That's what you're trying to get. Have a shot at them whenever you can and then rely on individual brilliance, right? Good kicking game, Katoa and everything like that. And then defend your ass off. That's what you have to do against these great sides.
Yeah.
Very hard, very hard.
All right, what about in the preseason, mate? And this is very similar, I guess. It sort of flows into where they are now to get to where they are and then get to where they are at the end of the season. This one's from This Is Will Drew. Love the pod. Listen every week. Quick one. How much of a team success is built in the preseason versus during the season? Like if they haven't done the work early, is it too late or can you rebuild and go on the run? Keen to hear your take.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work in the preseason. I've watched, the teams go through preseason and what they talk about, and it's all about building pillars and creating a culture and working hard. You know, and year one's not the same as year two. Year two's not the same as year three. So where we are now at the Bulldogs, we're like you're nearly where you want to be, right? Everyone's ripping in at 100%. Like there's no. It's all team first mentality. Like everyone's fit as hell. Everyone's testing each other. Iron sharpens iron. Everyone's going at each other. You don't have to hope for a decent session. It's just delivered, right? So it's like you build preseasons. It just doesn't take one. You could have the best preseason in the world and still go out there, and other teams are already well ahead of you because they're 2 or 3 years ahead of you.
90% of the teams who make the finals have started in preseason or even years before.
Yes.
Every now and again, you'll get an odd team that will go on a run and it'll just click and something will happen and they can fluke it. But more often than not,
you've got to build that.
You've got to build your pillars in the preseason.
So but I'm even talking about not just that one preseason. It's a couple of preseasons. It's not like you can have like the Tigers had a really good preseason this year. It does not mean they're going to make the 8. It means that they're going to get better. And then next year and then the year after, they're the ones, because I saw like what happened with the Bulldogs, right? The first year was fucking terrible, right? But they were saying all the right things, weren't they? They were building the right things, but they weren't delivering it on the field, right? And then the 24, different. Now this. So a lot of teams like Parramatta is going to have to go through that for a new coach. The Warriors are going through it. Like all these new, like Brisbane.
I would argue the Warriors are closer to you guys. I reckon they've gone. They went through. They quickly built it. And then, for whatever reason, a number of different reasons, health was a part of it, but it didn't
fell off a little bit. Yeah.
But the core of it was there, and that's why they've been able to regain it so much quicker this year.
Yeah, and that's just a mental thing, a coaching thing, staying on top of things, players being accountable. Like it's just the whole. Once you build it and you've set your culture, it's a player-driven culture. The coach can only do so much. Then the players have got to hold each other accountable. You have these tough talks with each other. That's the stuff that's the level that you need to get to. This is what preseasons build. But it takes preseasons. You can have a really good preseason and go, oh shit, yeah, we went all right. But you got to build it in the 2 or 3 years. So they're still very important, but it's all about building pillars and creating your own culture in these preseasons.
Yep, well said. All right, let's get to a little bit of gamesmanship. And Covey MWS wrote this straight after the game on Monday. Hey boys, L1 from day one. Wanted to point out something that I've been noticing in games. And I've seen this as well. This is why I put it in there, games recently, and you get your opinion on it as well. Throughout this season, and most specifically in the Eels-Tigers game on Monday, I've been seeing ball runners purposely grab defenders who are close in proximity to a tackle, but actually not affecting it. I noticed it from a few players. Terrell May, he's a repeat offender. He does a really good job. So what he's talking about is grabbing the defender. So
when they're not even in the tackle.
So when you're standing in the tackle, there's two back, how important it is to set the defensive line. And this is not a knock on Terrell. This is just really good gamesmanship. You can play like that. Generally, it'll be when they're already two in the tackle, and then you hold that third.
The third man's trying to get back.
It makes it even harder for them to get onside, and then there's penalties, and there's 6 agains off the back of it. Yeah. Cheers, boys! Love from an 18-year-old fan whose love of the game has been reignited with the help of the mighty
That's
levels.
Very good footy IQ from you, my
really
man.
Good.
Well
really
done
good.
on that, because I've noticed it a little bit, but it's an actual ploy. If you're a big, strong dude like a Payne Haas, I don't think Payne Haas even worries about it because
he does it sometimes.
Yeah, but I don't think he's as aware as a Terrell, mate. I think Terrell does it on purpose. He's dragging you in.
Paddy Carrigan
is. I think that because you need 3 in on those guys anyway, right?
Yeah.
So once that guy who's doesn't need it, because you just say a lot of them stand in the ball. They stand with the ball. You can't, because look at the size of the legs. And some, if you try and blade the legs, you can't get that. So you get up off your legs and he just grabs you and you're in. And then the other guy, they're all still in there. So someone has to go back.
Well, remember what the rule used to be 2 up top, then you rip the legs.
And then you change. Yeah, you change.
But now they just stand there like that.
Yeah. So you can't blade the blade needs to be obviously from the knee up to the hip, like pretty much there. And it's got to be nearly exactly the same time. It's got to work like clockwork. Like a lot of great defensive teams do it, but you can't just be around third man in on like guys like Payne, Haas and Tino and that and try and blade. So like you're just there and it's embarrassing sometimes. It's embarrassing sometimes when you're trying to get legs and you just get held out like that, right? So you might as well, I always tell the third man, I said, survey the thing. Usually 2 can handle it, right? But like, don't come in and lose your legs on the blade, right? Blading is when you come in third man, try and get legs.
Take your time.
Get a spot, and then survey, and then come in. So you close the deal, right? Don't come in, lose your legs. Someone holds you down like that. You look fucking stupid, right? So a lot of that, but that's just gamesmanship. That's smart, and that's just what happens when you're a big, strong dude that can't be put on your back.
Tell you what, because it's been a rough couple of weeks, I've just forgot about the golf day comment of the week. That's going in the running. A really good shout out to Kobe.
I like that.
Good footy IQ, good pick up, mate. All right, mates, this episode is brought to you by our partners, TJM. TJM Bull Bars to suit Prado 250. TJM's legendary Outback bar and new fan favourite Ventura bar were the first bars to market to suit the new Land Cruiser Prado 250 series. Both bars come with integrated recovery points, winch capabilities, and as always, backed by a 3-year warranty. Submit a quick quote online, takes less than 5 minutes, tjm.com.au.
Well, TJM has teamed up with Nick the Honey Badger Cummins for May. TJM has teamed up with the Honey Badger and turned his 200 series into a mega touring machine. Head to TJM's YouTube channel to check out the build. Give the great man a follow to keep up with all the touring badge and his young family as they explore this beautiful country.
You rolled with the badge?
The badge is a great guy.
Have you rolled with the badge before?
He's one of the greats.
It'd be great to have a scooter.
Oh, it'd be good.
TJM's Pro Series compressor giveaway. So head to our Instagram, put up a story of your TJM built rig, add the hashtag TJM times levels, all capitals for TJM and levels. Remember, tag TJM 4x4, 4x4, and that's it. Prize is a TJM portable air compressor valued at just under $600, $569. We'll be running that for 2 weeks, and the winner will be announced on the pod in a couple of weeks.
TJM might be getting me into maybe buying a 4-wheel drive or something.
I know.
Jeez. Getting very active, fishing rods.
What are you trying to turn me into? I'll be moving out west
boots.
soon. Hey, mongrel boots.
We're working
TJM,
class, that's why.
Working class.
We're working class podcast.
And I'm going fishing.
Got a message, one last one for and the teams have been announced for the State of Origin, which will be attending on the Thursday before Magic Round.
Yeah.
So, Savannah 9787. Hey guys, first time commenter, been following for a strong year now as a young female NRL supporter. I'm really loving what you guys are doing with the potty. Enjoyed the unbiased opinions and comments. My question for you is the NRLW comps starts soon. Would there be a potential for a 1 or 2 minute segment for some of your feedback on the female players, possibly top 3 players of the round or something of the sort? Nothing to take away from what you lads are already doing, but interested to know some of your thoughts on our best female players in the game. Cheers. Love your work. Legends. So, Savannah, perfect timing. I run into the great Fergie Ferg.
Yeah, Fergie.
Up in the with the 9 crew when I was doing the radio on Friday. She's keen to get on board this year. So what we might do is get Fergie Ferg in once a month. She might come in and just do a little segment with me for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we'll insert it into the show and talk a little bit.
These girls are going. So next week, Magic Round.
Yep.
They on the Thursday they play their first Origin game.
First
right?
Origin.
So what have they've been playing in what competition? This is where I get confused.
Yeah, the competition in Queensland still runs before.
Yeah, so that's where they all play at the moment?
Not all of them. So
Okay.
They're starting camps a little bit earlier. They have, what would you call it? Like
Tasha Gale, all that sort of stuff in Sydney. So where's Kezi Apps and where are all these like big gun players playing? Isabella Kelly and all that.
I think they've got to a level now where it's like the detail we're talking about with Mitch, where they train so well now away from it. They have like camps leading into it before they pick their final teams. And there's also a competition where even a couple of New South Wales girls go up and play up in Queensland.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the name of the competition.
Most of those big stars played in Vegas a few weeks ago as well, so they've got a bit of match fitness there.
Yep.
Where they carved up
A few
the
weeks
pommies.
ago. That's fucking 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 9 weeks. So I'm just saying, like
October.
it's pretty hard for these girls to go like from 0 to an Origin game.
That's why the quality of the first game last year was chalk and cheese compared to game 3.
Yeah, because then they get a couple of games in between and then they can go at it. Like, surely they've got to figure out a little bit of a better schedule for these women.
For sure.
Because there's a lot. I was at where was I today? Hang on, just let me think.
Your coaching clinic.
Yeah, I was at a coaching clinic this morning out at Kingsford, Kingsgrove, and there was a lot of young girls there. Like they wish to play for New South Wales and New Zealand and Australia and everything like that. You know, so the next generation is coming up. Like it's not like 20 years ago when you just didn't have a hope. Like these girls are getting paid some decent coin. You know what I mean? Like it's something that they can really aspire to, these young girls. I did a coaching clinic today. And I was just like, it was about out of 50, I reckon there was at least 12 girls.
Awesome.
You know, and they were probably around about 15, 16 years old, high skill level, you know, running plays defensively, really willing to learn. You know what I mean? Like they would ask questions and I'm just like, and I was just saying, what do you want out of this? Like, I want to play NRLW. I said, how good's that? You know what I mean? Like 20 years ago, because I'm 45 years old, it just never was like part of like a young girl's psyche, right?
You might
a
have
15-year-old
playing in a competition.
Yeah, which would never ever. So now they have a proper pathway to be a professional athlete, a professional rugby league women's athlete, right? And you can earn good money and set yourself up. So it's like this next CBA is going to come in the next couple of years. That means the women's money goes up as well, right? So there's they need to get this shit right. If the money's in there, like you've got to have them, you've got to have a decent schedule for these women. You can't have like just 8 or 9 games for us, then all of a sudden they play a fucking Origin game. And then if the standard's not high enough, everyone's going, oh, the game's, you know, like the game, well, the women shouldn't be playing this, blah, blah, blah. You know, give them something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely got to work on it because this game is not going anywhere but up.
No, it's killing it. Like the numbers again. Most rational thinking people who watched the game and been across it, like Lukey knows how much I watch it. Everyone was like, oh, the game was not to the standard that we expected, but because for all the reasons you said, they hadn't played for like 6 months because they didn't even have that Vegas hit out like Lukey was referring to there.
But I think they've all learned from that last season
for sure
too.
they will. And they'll get better at it because they're just trying to figure out how the schedule looks.
It was last year the Blues had been in camp for like 2 months as basically a friendship group.
Yeah.
Just all training for that first game and blew Queensland off the park.
Get it right. They've got to get it right. These girls
get to the team list for this week. The team list. All right, let's get to it. Round 8.
I thought you were going to say round out.
Round out, round 8. The Broncos versus Bulldogs. This should be a doozy. 7:50 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. So Broncos No Reece Walsh, and he's in huge doubt for Origin 1 as well, which we'll see. So with him not playing, Selwyn Cobbo takes over at fullback. Dean Mariner comes in on the wing. And yep, because I was thinking Cobbo was playing centres, but no, he has been playing wing. Brendan Piakura also returns on the bench. He had a stint on the sideline with suspension, missed a couple of games. As for the Bulldogs, just the one change to the side that beat the Rabbitohs. Harry Hayes is the new player place of Jack Todd, who unfortunately has
broke
that arm, mate.
Just can't get it right, man. That's 3 now. Poor kid. That's all right. Harry Hayes has been.
You and the club and Ciro have got a high opinion of him. So thoughts are with Jack Todd. Rip in, mate. Try to get it right.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game.
This is going to be a good game. Luke, you got the odds for us?
I do. Tab have Brisbane at $2.40. The Bulldogs are a favourite at $1.58. The line is 4.5.
I'm not going anywhere near the Broncos, so let's go Bulldogs. This will be hard. This will be one of our hardest games. I think. I know that Reece Walsh is out, which sucks, but I mean, like, that could change the Selwyn Cobbo and Dean Mariner coming in.
It's a completely different style.
Yeah, they're going to play a whole different style of football, so it could be way more dangerous to us. So their forward pack's going to be hard. Xavier Willison's in the back row. That's a problem. He's been an animal. He just hasn't been getting enough minutes.
I think maybe late change.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but if he gets more minutes and he gets fitter and fitter and fitter, he's going to be a proper problem because he's got leg speed. He's got everything. So big job on for Max King and Josh Curran.
Yeah, we'll see if
look at that.
People are talking about
Paddy Carrigan, Payne Haas. You're talking about Max King. You're talking about Origin. Go at Payne Haas. And you go at Carrigan as well.
You called out Barnett last week to go after
Fucking go at it, Big Maxi. I love him.
Yeah.
He's improved so much. And, like, just to have his name thrown in there, he would be thinking, all right. Then now this is the litmus test.
You know who will be watching closely? Billy Slater with Reid Marnie and Kurt Mann.
Yes.
Suncorp against Queenslanders. There's a couple of...
I didn't know Kurt Mann was a Queenslander.
Couple of guys that are going to have big games.
Yeah. I think the Bulldogs will get them.
Yeah.
Honestly, think this will be a very hard game. This could be it's
tricky.
It's a winnable game for Brisbane. They're not coming in here thinking, we're scared of the Bulldogs, right?
No.
They got Payne Haas. They got all these. They got some. Look at that forward pack. It's just it's crazy. I'm not sure what they're starting Billy Walters for. What's Corey Pace done?
They started Billy Walters last week, and he did an all right job. And then Billy, I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Xavier Willison, who started last week, he drops back to the bench. Piakura starts. Ben Hunt plays hooker, and Billy Walters plays 6.
Surely you've got to show enough faith in Ben Hunt to get right. Because the last, his game was probably his worst of his career, right? But
he's had a rough 3 weeks, mate. People have been hammering Walshy so much they haven't really been paying attention to how badly or just the connection that Ben Hunt's been.
Yeah, we've seen it. We know. Well, I think, this
and it's a huge game for him
because guess who's coming back after this round? Is he playing this round?
Ezra?
No,
after Magic he'll be back. So not this game, and then they have Magic round, and then he'll be back after that.
He did his first bit of media this week. I saw.
Really? Did he?
So maybe you just put Ben Hunt at hooker just to go, all right, this is what's going to happen for the rest of the year.
Is he our man, your man? Ezra Mem anymore?
He's a man. He is? I don't know. He's got to work back into that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
You've got to earn that back from us.
I think that could be a ploy. If I see Ben Hunt at 9, that means that Ezra's not really going to play reserve grade that long. If you want to win games, especially if they get dusted tomorrow.
I was going to ask you a question, and then I just answered it in my head, but I'll say it out loud. I was going to be like, do you reckon Billy would reach out to Madge and go, can you play him at 9 for us and give us a look for Origin with Harry Grant? Probably not answering each other's calls at the moment, even though they've got a relationship, right? They've got a strong... Madge was an assistant coach at Melbourne Storm for 3 or 4 years.
They know each other enough.
Does that even come into your psyche as the former Blues coach at all?
No way.
No way.
No way, but it's
Once you've been involved in the Blues and the whole brotherhood there and the hatred and shit, there's no fucking way.
But
No, that's
anyway.
my point. Like, does it come into his psyche to go, I'm not going to play him at 9?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if they play Ben Hunt anyway at 9. That's my thing. So even just say like I mentioned it, it's
know
not
what you're
necessarily
talking
because.
about.
Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah.
We're not giving him any reps.
I'll be playing him at 6 all day. Just
Replace Walshy at fullback hunting.
Madge, honestly, and then this is like to your question. He gave a shit. He gave a shit about New South Wales last year. Now he gives a shit about Broncos. If it means he thinks he can get the best performance out of Ben Hunt and the Broncos, then he plays 9.
Yeah.
He don't give a shit about
Nah.
what reps he may get for Queensland to play New South Wales. He needs to win games.
Yeah.
He needs to win
Yep.
games. So that's what I reckon he'll do. Do the best for the Brisbane Broncos. I'm with you, mate. I like the start as well.
Yep.
I'll be on the Bulldogs. They're super impressive. Watching them live. Watching them live on Friday was a real treat for a guy that loves just clinical X's and O's footy. All right, let's get to the Roosters versus Dragons. Friday, 4 p.m. at Allianz Stadium. This is always a doozy for Anzac Day. The Roosters welcome back Billy Smith from suspension. So Mark Nwinga-Niitawase, he shifts to the wing. Dom Young drops out, as I anticipated. Spencer Leniu will start at prop in the absence of Nat Butcher, whilst Angus Crichton, he will return from that groin problem, which kept him out of last week's game against Penrith. Salisi Feketi.
Is he the 15? Sorry, is he the 15? I like him.
So do I.
Fuck, he's good. He's going to be good. He's going to be good.
You can tell they like both him and Taylor Lasalu. He drops out, though, because Egan Butcher returns for his first
Good
game
work,
since,
Egan Butcher.
I think about round 10 last year. It would have been about against the Raiders. He did his ACL. Dragon, Sione Finau, he's the new guy on the wing, as expected, with Matt Fiangai. He suffered a fibular fracture and high-grade syndesmosis injury
That's
on
bad.
that Toff Sipley.
Yeah, Sipley got 4 weeks for that, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's like,
That's a fucking 10-week injury.
even longer.
Yeah.
Even longer. So
What do you think of that?
Mate, Sipley was trying to make a tackle and actually got knocked out from, I think it was Takiaho, and then just lost.
He didn't know where he was.
It wasn't a hip drop. He got knocked.
He fucking fell on his leg.
Yeah.
Like, I feel sorry for Sips.
I feel sorry for
And I feel sorry for Faingai.
but I also feel sorry for Sipley in the 4 weeks.
He didn't know where he was.
No.
And he's fucking accidentally landed on this poor brother's leg and pretty much fucked his season.
Could be a season.
You know, and then like he's out for 4 weeks only because of the severity of the injury.
Yeah. What about the odds for this game, Lukey?
So Roosters are favourites at $1.77, St. George $2.05. The line is 1.5 with tap.
Yeah, I'm going Dragons.
So am I.
Yeah, I like the way they're playing. I like it. Roosters will be good. I mean, they're always good. This is always a very, very, very passionate game. Obviously, it's Anzac Day. There's a lot of history there.
Remember
playing in these games, man. The Dragons always get the
JWH off the kickoff into Moses Sully, knocked clean out. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that completely threw out the rotation because what's his name? Who's the back rower that played through the middle? The lock from Melbourne. He had to play centres.
Eisenhuth.
Your man
Got pumped.
Eisenhuth.
He got pumped. I don't think he's played since. No.
I think it's a really even battle, 1 to 13.
Yeah.
I've got advantage bench for. I like the bench of the Dragons. Little Laurie, I reckon Gula will end up starting.
Yep.
And maybe Clem drop back to the bench or even Couchman, because Couchman can do that Lindsay Smith role, come off the bench and then play 60 straight.
Yeah, they're tough, Dragons. Roosters are good. They're improving a lot, but they're not. I think Dragons is just a little bit tougher.
I reckon it's going to be a cracking
bit.
game.
Yeah, it'll be a nasty game. It'll be a lot of hits. It'll be fucking tough.
How many points did you say, Lukey? Is it 2.5, 3?
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, see,
I'd even take that than the head-to-head just to give myself a point, because I wouldn't be surprised if the Roosters beat him by a field goal and then you get the 1.5, which is the half point to get the win.
Spencer starting. I like Spencer starting, but like I just know that he's the best bench player in the game. He can take care of Spencer at the start. They got some big boys there.
Yeah, he's effective off the bench.
Yeah, he's so effective. Way better.
All right, let's get to the Warriors versus Knights. This game is Friday, 6 p.m. here. It's 8 p.m. in Christchurch at Apollo Projects Stadium. So,
okay,
Clogstad is back. Taintua Picky will move to the wing. Ed Cossie out Rocco Berry is also back into the centres. So Kurt Capewell, your man, returns back to the back row where he will not be burnt for speed.
is back.
Leka Halasima goes to the bench. Tamade Martin, he goes to 18th man. As for the Knights, huge in. Dylan Lucas is back. So Thomas Cant moves to the bench and Jermaine McEwen makes way. Lukey, what's the odds for this game?
Bringing this one up, hang on. I've got the game 2 up. Game 3, we've got Warriors, Newcastle. Warriors favourites $1.34. Newcastle's $3.30. The line is 8.5.
Fuck. I'm Warriors all day.
Someone clipped up your Tyson Gamble take too.
Yeah, fucking cares. You think I care? I don't even fucking... Someone sent it to me before, so fuck off.
Slow news. It's a slow news week outside of the Galvin.
If they're putting that shit on there, God. It's my opinion. So who cares? Warriors, they look all right. I think the Knights are fucking looking awful.
Are you a little bit worried that because... Yeah.
No, not at all.
No, you're heavy Warriors?
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
Over there, Christchurch, fucking hell, Friday night, drums, belting. They sold out last year in Christchurch, didn't they? The Warriors?
Yeah, it's been sold out for 3 weeks.
Yeah, they love their footy, so the Warriors, they'll be back. They're playing some good football. And I mean, I thought they were going to miss Fish, but it just makes those other brothers step up, man.
I tell you what, man.
When you're missing someone like that means it's Barnett's pack.
Dylan Lucas was fucking unbelievable those first 2 games. Is he that much of a difference?
No.
If Knights are back this week, then that says a lot about how much of an influence Dylan
When he
Lucas
comes
has.
back, because it's a hamstring.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting him to bust tackles. I'm expecting him to be really good, defensively and run some good lines, but that extra line breaking ability that he has.
A little bit hesitant.
Yeah.
How far
Always,
off,
mate.
How far off Origin is the bloke
Dylan
like
Lucas?
Because
Mate,
he's a smoky for sure.
He was killing. He was the best back row in the first 2 weeks.
Well, him and Presto, I'll put at the same level.
Good shout.
Yeah, at the same level right now. You've got the top echelon of Liam Martin. You got Ola Kawatu up there on the right. You got Angus Crichton, and you got Huddy Young on the left. They're your top 4, and then Preston, and then Dylan Lucas. I think that's a
Good options, eh?
Yeah, it's a fair thing. And then at lock, I'm not sure. I mean, you got Isaiah Yeo clearly, but he's good. He moves good. He's a fucking good mover. But they'll miss that. I mean, if he can play on that left edge and he can hit some really good holes there, there's a bit of space there.
Fuck it.
I don't know. The Knights could.
I am going one last time. Knights, if you fuck me.
and Gamble probably get man of the match.
Gamble's my fucking man. Fuck you, Mace.
Yeah.
I'm Team Gamble.
Remember what happened last time when he was talking shit and they played the Warriors? The Warriors pumped him.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's going to get his
So it might be. Would it be revenge? Is it revenge week for? Yeah. Oh well, good luck to him.
This is my revenge through the Knights to the Wires fans.
I might go the Knights too.
No, you stay over there. No, you stay over there. You and your man Metcalf.
If Capewell just gets smoked in the middle by someone like Frizzell.
You and your man Metcalf against me and my man Gamble.
I love it. Let's go. Come on. All right, Warriors Warriors 13 plus.
I think the Warriors have been good.
Are they due for a loss?
They're due, and the Knights are due for a
They've got to win the Knights.
That's my thought
But
process.
I thought if this was in Newcastle, I'd probably back them.
You know what? I'm actually going the Knights because of Christchurch. If it was at Go Media, I'd be on Warriors.
Yeah?
I reckon that's a difference as well. I think people in Christchurch would just be pumped to have. Yeah, they
just wanted something there.
They'll just love to have footy, where it would be diehard Warriors fans.
Could there be a team in Christchurch? Is that the one
Yeah,
where they're
for
looking
sure.
at? I'm just saying, because I think they're showing up in numbers because they're like, yeah, we support league.
They want a team.
Fucking love it.
They've got a new stadium that's weatherproof, got a fucking roof and shit.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's one the Union guys played it,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they say. It's perfect. Oh, did you see Shawnee Johnson in the crowd?
Yeah,
How good
I
was
love that.
How good was that? That was
Loved it.
and hopefully he doesn't turn up because he got the crowd pumped up like that too. Friday, 8 o'clock at Amy Park. So a couple of huge outs. It's not huge. Well, yes, huge, but we knew about it last week. Jack Howarth, he's out. He's offset by Nick Meaney, who will return, which is a big in. That's their goal kicker as well.
Good defender. Good defender, Bob.
Tui Kamakamitha, he misses out. So Lazarus Valepu, he's the new guy, but big nasty.
Ooh, big nasty.
He's amongst the reserves, so he must be close. He must
him
be
back.
a big chance from his concussion protocol, which has been about 3 weeks now. As for the Rabbitohs, as predicted, the horoscope picked it. Latrell Mitchell shifted to fullback. Jai Gray goes to the bench. Lewis Dodd drops out. Bailey Bentley Hape comes in on the wing. So Campbell Graham shifts to the centres. Ewan Aiken to the back row. Jaden Sullivan returns from suspension at halfback. Lachlan Hubner is out with concussion. So Jai Arrow slides to lock. So a whole heap of changes for South
Campbell
Sydney.
Graham is fucking big.
Campbell Graham's so much
I went
better
up
at
and
centre.
because I don't really know him that well, and I just yelled out in the tunnel just to shake his hand and say, "Well done, coming back," and like just good luck, just get through the whole year. He's fucking easily eye contact, like straight, like just that. He's that tall. He's like 6'4", 6'5", easy.
He doesn't give much A too.
No,
He's quite reserved.
he's very reserved.
He's
He
quite
just
reserved,
I just give him a hug and then said good luck.
I seen him at an RLPA thing.
I just like him as a kid, and he's just like, I don't like young kids who get through, have so many injuries, man, and then it's just just getting through it now. So I just want
way better centre than winger too, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh yes, for sure.
Lockdown.
Fuck yeah, he'll lock anyone down.
Lockdown centre.
Right side
wing.
centre, just leave him there.
Yeah.
Jack on the left. That's how you get it. Trell at the back. And then Cody, now you can score tries. Their middles aren't like mind blowing, right? They're not going to blow you off the field or anything like that, but they'll do a job on you. They can do a job on you. They can hold you. Like Kepi's a good defender. They can do a job. And then you got these 3 absolute freaks in your back line that they can make shit happen. That
are the odds,
no other team.
The odds for this one is Melbourne $1.20, South $4.50, and the line is 14.5 with Tab.
What are we thinking here? Because like the Storm will never lose like they did lose 2 in a row, didn't they, this year?
No,
Panthers did.
No, Panthers lost.
Okay. Yeah, I felt sorry. I was thinking last week when the Storm got beat, I was like, whoever they're playing next week is getting absolutely pumped. And I'm sorry, Rabbits. You're getting pumped.
I'm going Rabbits.
I knew it. You think Trell's going to turn one on?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's what's his 4th game back?
Yeah, Melbourne would be, Bellamy's going to have them up. Wayne's also going to have the Rabbits.
Oh, man, it's going to be a good game.
That was a disgraceful effort from them on the weekend.
Yep.
And I'm expecting Wayne, he won't allow that.
And Trell loves playing in Melbourne. Remember a couple of years back?
Yeah,
he
he's just
silenced
won
him
it.
right
The
at the
prelim,
end.
the prelim.
Looked directly at Panisi.
And the prelim, he got him. He smoked him.
They haven't won for forever. They haven't won for like
since
16
2020.
games, 16 games. So he had a big game, but they still lost because Pappy kicked the field goal to win.
That's right.
I just saved us from a Joey moment.
Yeah.
About them going down. So,
All right.
Yeah, Rabbitohs haven't won down there for 16 years.
Lachlan Hubner, right? I watched him play.
16 games.
Lachlan Hubner. Like, when they talk about HIA and stuff like that dude should have been taken off about a minute before. He was just, he was gassed, but he was out.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, you just got to grab him, stop the game. I was like, because I look at that, like, he was so fatigued and, like, rattled. If someone runs at him and he's trying to, he'll be fucking proper out. He really, the bunker really needs to, like, straighten the refs' ears, stop the game. Get 13 off because he was that fatigued, and all it took was just say Satili Tupanua just runs straight at him, and he's at A and bumpers to the head. That's the one that you don't want. He's out cold.
Yeah,
so just be a lot sharper and a lot quicker. What are you fucking looking at in the bunker? I'm sitting up there watching the same game. I can clearly see the 13 is not really, he's not really on. He's been hit. So they just need to be on top of that sort of shit. What are they looking at? Get off your phones.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's
Fucking
get to
Gen Z. You got Gen Z in the bunker.
This is my same game multi for Friday night.
All right.
Huge way to finish Friday night with 3 games on Anzac Day. I'm going to go. I took it easy on Lukey. Lukey said he didn't want 4 try scorers in one game. So I've gone away from my wingers bet for Amy Park, but I've still got 2 wingers in there. Xavier Coates, he's scoring for fun. He'll go over for 1.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping Isaiah Tass is on the left side. Now, I'm not totally sure. It could be the young gun Bailey Bentley Hape, but I'm hoping for Isaiah Tass on the left, similar to the Trell Mitt cutout ball against, who was that against? The Roosters? Yes, it was against the Roosters. So I think this game's going to be closer than a lot of people are anticipating. I'm even going to go Rabbitohs responsibly to get the win. But for the multi, I just need it to be close. I've got Rabbitohs 14.5. I think that's too many points. The Storm have been leaking points in the second half, and they leaked it badly last week against the Dolphins. Yeah. I think this game will be closer than what people think.
What weather were we looking at on Friday? That's very...
Pretty...
I think it's going to be shit.
Melbourne?
I was in Melbourne, I don't.
Amy Park, yeah. You can still look at that on...
no, it's too hard. I have to put in Melbourne.
What do you got? What weather you got?
It is, raining, same weather.
Okay.
Bit colder, 22.
Yeah, that sucks.
I like the points even better then.
All right.
14.5 with the weather.
Yeah,
whoever just got to get a couple of tries.
Whoever that left winger is going to get a couple of tries, I reckon.
All right, let's get to Saturday. Cowboys, they are back after the bye. The Titans against the Titans. So 5:30 p.m. at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Johnny Bateman returns. He missed last game before the bye, and Jeremiah Nanai has moved into the starting side.
Well done.
Kai O'Donnell and the system of Sam McIntyre fame moved to the bench. Harrison Edwards is the player to drop out to 18th man. As for the Titans, David Fifita has been named to play on the bench, while speedster Alofiana CANBERRA is also back. So Brock Gray is another player who returns from suspension, with Cleese Haas and Isaac Fasuamala-Awi dropping off the bench. Lukey, what odds have we got for this game?
North Queensland with Tab at $1.42. Gold Coast $2.90. The line is 8.5.
I like them up there, Cowboys. I think they're playing all right football before the bye. They're going all right.
Yep.
I don't mind it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think a little. Titans they still haven't figured it out in the halves. I'm not sure. Campbell's still out, is he? Yeah,
Campbell's still out. Yeah, he's going to be out for a month.
He's going to be out for a little bit. Yeah. Whoever's playing 7 there,
Weaver.
He's a little bit off, and then fucking Brimson. He's just one of the best. He's a top 10 fullback.
They don't even really have any options in the extended squad that can come in. Josiah Pahulu is back in the extended. He hasn't played for a minute.
Yeah.
He should get the jump over Adamaho, I think.
Because he's been good.
Maybe all the drama at the start of the year with mixing.
I don't know. I just think the Cowboys have got too much power in that forward pack as well. I like Taumalolo, how he's going.
They've got their shit together now.
Yeah, they look pretty sharp. Dearden looks pretty good. Dearden looks good. Yeah. Nanai looks good. A lot of their key players have they look like they've figured their shit out. Enough to beat the Titans.
Okay. I'm with you. I worry a little bit about the match officials in that game. They really scared me.
Who is it?
Chris Butler, the ref, and Casey Badger, senior review official.
The one that ref the Eels Tigers game got dropped, I saw. Just if we're talking about refs.
Who was that? Who was Eels Tigers?
I can't remember the name. Anyway.
Was it Liam Kennedy?
Potentially. That's
Liam
familiar.
Kennedy. He was awful as video ref in the Knights game as well. Last year, I don't know, they're so rattled. I can't get a read on them. I
think your take was pretty on the money.
Which one?
The few weeks back about what their all mindset is. They're all just nervous.
Yeah, they're all rattled. All right, let's get to Panthers versus Seagulls, return of Turbo. All right, we'll start off with Panthers though. Luke Summerton takes over at hooker for Mitch Kenny, whilst Isaac Tungol is also back in the centres in place of Luke Garner, who got concussed in that game. So Maverick Guy has been added to the bench. As for the Manly Seagulls, Xu Jin, Tommy Turbo returns to fullback. So Leo Hopewadi moves back to the wing. Tommy Talau goes to the bench. Clayton Falola drops out. Jakey's also missing this game. That was a really bad knockout in that game. So Jazz Tavanga moves to lock. Jake Simpkin to hooker. Josh Alloway returns into the front row. Corey Waddell was back from suspension. Toff Sipley received 4 games, as we mentioned earlier on. Where are you going on this one? You want to go Smo? You want to go Manly?
The Penrith rattle me. They've done it again. I'm going the Eagles. I'm sick of them. I'm sticking with them.
Sticking with
the downfall of the Panthers.
So you went Roosters
because of Tom.
Last week.
I want Tommy to get up.
Okay.
I think Tom
for origin purposes.
Yeah. Just need him to play some good football. Chaz Tavanga looks pretty good at lock. He does. They do lose a lot with Jakey, but Tavanga looks good.
Yeah.
He's had a great year.
I just don't see it for Manly at the moment.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
I'm fucking 50-50 here.
I'll tell you who's not 50-50.
I'm going back. No,
Oh, yeah, give us the odds.
Panthers. I'm
Okay.
back to the Panthers.
Okay.
I'm back on the bus.
You're back at Panthers at $1.50 with Tab.
Yeah.
And then Manly at $2.60. The line is 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Mace. I'm on Panthers, nowhere near as confident as I have been in years past in this game.
They just look like they had a little bit together last
I'm not even going to take the points because it's just feel like this has weird energy, this game. Turbo's back, but is he going to be healthy? Jakey should be a big out. I think Mitch Kenny's a huge loss. I think he's one of those guys that's probably not getting enough credit. Isaac Tonga back for Luke Garner, you'd think would be a plus, but he hasn't been playing that well, so there could be some joy. So I'm going to go Penrith head-to-head in this game. And I'm going to go the big fella to get it going again. Hamoli Olakuatu, anytime.
Yeah, see, I'm a guy like that who has a bad game like that.
Yeah.
He comes back the next week and can single-handedly destroy you.
I think he's run first in this game.
So is he going up against Blaze?
Correct.
Just Blaze.
I got them both. I got Blaze Talangi. I thought he got some confidence out of that game. Hopefully he gets on the back end of shape like I mentioned on Monday where he is out the back of Dylan Edwards and could have some joy. So I like try scorers on both edges. So Penrith attacking left and Manly Seagulls attacking right through Olakuatu. Give me Penrith head-to-head, Blaze Talangi anytime, Hamole Olakuatu anytime. Got $19 about that. Responsibly. Not bad. All right, let's get to the Raiders versus Dolphins Sunday, 2 p.m, GIO Stadium. Sticky has stuck with the same 17 that got the job done against the Titans. As for the Dolphins, Frankie Molo will make his club debut on the front row. Mark Nichols moves to lock to replace Felice Kafusi, who's missing with a knee injury. Hooker Jeremy Marshall King remains sidelined, whilst Max Plath has been named to play despite suffering a foot injury against the Storm. So that's huge if he's able to hang on. What are the odds for this one? This has got to be a coin flip, Lukey.
Canberra Dolphins, $1.58 and $2.40. So it's both
240 Dolphins.
Raiders all day, me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not confident at it all. The line is
Sunday, 2 p.m, they're hard to beat. Dry track.
line 4.5.
Raiders on a Sunday down there.
I'm going to talk.
They look. Yeah.
I'm going to talk you on a bet I think you're going to like. I think this is going to be a proper dogfight. I'm still going to take a couple of try scorers. I'm going to go the two fullbacks, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow and KO Weeks, but I'm going to go under 48.5. I know these two teams have been scoring a lot of points, but I reckon they're two genuine contenders this year.
Yeah.
And it could just be a big bang fest through the middle.
Yeah, I think Francis Molo is underdone. Felice Kafusi is a big miss in the middle there because his energy is infectious and he bangs everything.
That's true.
Francis Molo, like he's a good player, but like he needs about 7 or 8 games under his belt and he's had none.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I just think, and Max Plath, like infection. Like I don't know if he's playing or not.
No, so Jeremy Marshall King infection.
Oh, Marshall King, yes.
So
he's a big
Max Plath will play hooker.
Yeah, big loss. And it just ruins their rotation up a little bit, right? I like Max getting the ball off the 9 and doing whatever he wants. You know what I mean?
I've got to stay on the Dolphins, right, until they lose.
Yeah, you have to. You got to. You got
my
to.
thing now.
Yeah,
He fins up.
He's all fins up. He's all fins up. Raiders, I just think playing them down there on a Sunday, even back in the days, always a hard game.
Yeah.
It sucked.
There's no way I take
Dry
the
track
Dolphins
as well.
against Penrith and Melbourne and then don't
No,
take
you
them against
can't.
the Raiders.
And this will be the Dolphins. Like you'll be like, you can beat the 2 grand finalists, and then you'll just get dusted by the Raiders.
Well, we keep saying dry track.
Is it
It's
pissing down
18
rain?
and 55% chance of rain.
Yeah, but it's just 45% chance it won't rain then. At that time.
Wouldn't
just
it
for
be
80.
55?
Just for 80.
Did you say 45% chance rate?
He said 55.
55%
So
chance.
45% of chance of not raining for 80
Precipitation.
minutes. For 80 minutes. Just for 80 down there. Dry track.
Anyone in the... No.
There you go. One last game.
All right, last game. Tigers versus Sharks. So Lockie Galvin is back in the 6th jersey to partner Jerome. Dewey moves to the centres. Naden to the wing. Lily is out. Royce Hunt returns on the bench. As for the Sharks, Toby Rudolph has been ruled out with an ankle injury, and he has been replaced by...
Cooper Kehau Tapahau.
That's been added recently. So
Tapuha.
Takupa, Kiho, Tapuha. He never used to be that. He used to just be
Tapua.
Cooper.
Yeah, all right. What do you think about the Tigers? I was thinking about the Tigers. I'm like, Lockie Galvin, through all the shit that he's been through, like now suing the club, everything like that, and then you just get straight back in.
I don't think he's suing.
No, like there's a lawsuit out, right, for bullying. Is that legit?
I think it's, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer by any stretch, but I think it's just more like I don't feel comfortable in the workplace situation. It's just like you report it to HR effectively.
RLPA.
Yeah.
I think
Correct.
something's been reported to RLPA about it's you know what, it's a real sensitive one. You got to be careful.
It is now. It is. That's what I'm saying. But like, just say I'm thinking if you know Benji and the whole West Tigers are just sick of this like whole debacle, just name him as a starter so there's no like any more noise at all.
I don't know because that
would they do
him and then don't play him.
Like you can just say he's injured or something like that. I don't know. Is it
No, but then they're asking him to do something. He's lying in the workplace. They can't do that.
But like, I don't. But what good is it if
I think they're a better
Lachlan
team
Galvin?
than you.
Yeah, so do I. But like
Yeah.
Lachlan Galvin is obviously they've put that letter in of like the bullying sort of stuff. And how much bullying have you had? Like now you want to play. Do you know what I mean? Like
We'll
you're good
never
after
know. We
1
can only
week.
speculate, I guess.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So it's a little bit weird. 1 week you feel bullied, next week you're fine enough to play first grade with the same guys that bullied you. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like I find it's a very weird sort of situation.
Might not necessarily have been about whether he's playing or not playing either. It's just like I imagine the huge part was the post potentially, but again, you got to be careful with this stuff, mate.
Yeah, I don't think he's bullied. I don't think he's bullied. I'm just saying, but like how it got portrayed, and then it's just, do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like it's
but like again, like I'm just going to keep reiterating. We're not actually we hear rumors, and we're probably getting mail, and some of us get better mail than others, but we're not there.
No.
I reckon we just purely focus on the game, and Lachlan Galvin has been named, and I think they're a better team with him. So I think they're a lot better chance, but I feel like this is the sort of team that the Sharks will
fucking drive into. Yeah, because they've got
forward pack.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one where the Sharks. I mean, I think the Sharks played outstanding last week, and I think like this one, they're just going to go, all right, we're the big boys. See if you can come with us. You know, Lockie's going to. I hope the guy he plays and he plays good and outstanding. But I just don't see him. Even if they didn't have any drama like this, I don't see him beating the Sharks.
Agreed.
You know? Yeah, I just don't see. I don't see him going. Yeah, we're going to go toe to toe with the Sharks. It'll be a good game. Still be a hard game.
I reckon the Sharks have
It's at Leichhardt at 4 o'clock. It's a fucking good game.
They're playing at Leichhardt.
Yeah.
Leichhardt at 4.
So that's a big thing.
That's going to be highly emotional.
Yeah,
Leichhardt.
be very emotional. So like it'll be interesting to see when he runs on the field. What sort of reception?
He got a good reception.
The die hard.
League Kumi got a good reception by all reports. I was going to say on Leichhardt, did you see the renders of the
50 people
rebuild
there.
that came out yesterday?
What'd you say?
There's probably 50 people there at Lidcombe.
500 apparently.
God, he's gonna. No, you'll feel it now.
That's a.
He'll feel whatever, like how the
That's a
West
record
Tigers are
Lidcombe
feeling.
The temperature.
Yeah, like if they're going
The
on
energy
his side.
was tense at the game on Monday. I'll tell you that much.
It was, wasn't it?
It was. You could.
I could feel it. You were there. Were you there?
Both teams. Yeah. I was
Yeah. So I could.
Anyway, I was talking about the renders of the new Leichhardt rebuild, but keep going.
Oh yeah, I know.
They
That
look
looked
great.
good, didn't it? Yeah. Hopefully that gets done. But
I love how they kept the aesthetic of the hill and everything like that and just
Yeah, I was
throw a
there
few
on Saturday.
corporates
It
in
just
there.
needs to be cleaned up. Oh, were you?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't touch the hill.
No,
It's
they
like Brookie.
haven't.
It's like Brookie. Just a
Yeah.
little bit around. Like do something
Correct.
like they did up that whatever that end is. How Manly did that centre.
Call
of
the
excellence.
same builder.
Do that.
Yeah, call the same bloke.
And then a little bit up the other end. A little bit maybe. another
basically, that's what
stand.
the renders
Like,
were.
Yeah. That's what I had a good look at it. But
Anyway, odds for this one.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Let me bring that up. Game 8, we are West Tigers $2.70. Sharkies $1.47. The line is -5 Cronulla. 5.5 to Cronulla.
Sharks are just, they're all right. They're good. They should be able to beat the West Tigers. It's hard at Leichhardt. It's going to be a very emotional game.
At around the same time, early on in the year. But I'm with you. I'm with Sharks too.
Yeah.
If Sharks are legit,
They've got to take care of the Tigers if they're legit.
who was the team you early on? You're like, you know what? It's been so hard to pick, but I've been struggling to find the Sharks this year too. I
can't.
Every time I'm fucking get too high.
I would not be surprised if we're sitting here on Monday going, yeah, Sharks got beat.
We'll go both together, Sharks though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right, that is it. A little bit earlier this week. Got a bit of a break, mate. We've got Thursday off. Lukey, enjoy your time up at Alpha Events.
I will give it a quick plug. We'll be up on the flats up at the Gold Coast. I'll be filming some content on Anzac Day with all the crowd going to the event.
Is it Anzac Day?
So tomorrow's the press conference. Like, remember that last year, all the chaos with that? So I'll be filming all that. Friday, we're going around the streets of the Gold Coast, interviewing everyone going to the fights. Saturday is fight day, 3 p.m, pay-per-view. Alpha Events Co on Instagram. It's going to be a doozy of an event.
Awesome, mate. All right, well, have a good weekend.
All right,
enjoy the footy over the break, and we will see you back on Monday, and Lukey will be heaps sober.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.